you know, we've been talking about work from home.
Yep.
And most of the time we've been talking about what? The business owner.
Yep.
Because the business owner at Disney's are like, you must be back in 3 days. We are a creative organization. Creative collaboration can't happen. You got to be here 3 days. By the way, that's Disney talking. Liberal Disney picketing and doing things one way in Florida, and then back from Burbank, California, saying, you know, with a heavy, you know, authoritarian accent, everybody back to work. You know?
They almost sound like Elon Musk that said you can work remotely, but not from Twitter.
That's right. You can work remotely wherever you want, just not at Twitter.
Exactly.
It's good. Well, but we've been talking about the businesses, right? We've been talking about all the businesses that have been pulling people back to the office. But there's another side to this, and that's the employee side. And there was a couple shocking things came up on the over the weekend. And it was, would you take a pay cut to work from home? Now, the argument has always been, why wouldn't you give me like 5% more? Because I'm going to pay for my internet, and that's my desk, and that's my lease, and I'm not taking up space at an office lease. And now we know that some offices are downsizing. Okay. And so the argument was, wouldn't you pay me 2%? Let's cut the difference. If there's 5% of office, why wouldn't you give 2% to the employee, put 2% in your pocket, and do it that way? But now, you know, on the heels of Google telling people that they had to be in the office 3 days a week, they also indicated that those that don't keep the schedules are going to see performance reviews strongly impacted. In other words, if you're working from home and you're late on a project or you miss Zoom calls, you are going to be judged more strictly than someone who's at the office and misses a meeting or is late on it. And it's because they're arguing the same way. Look, we have to force people working from home to be slightly more proactive. Well, as we all know, the liberal Googlers, what do they call it? Googlers working in the Googleverse went berserk. And they freaked out. What? You know, because it's like, you know, every time you search accountability on Google, you get nothing in response. Just kidding. But apparently that's what it's like if you work at Google. There is no accountability. But accountability is coming back, and now people are freaking out.
But they do have ping pongs and snacks and love sacks and
chef,
all that good stuff.
And a chef.
But if you're not at the office, you can't even take advantage of it.
Guess what? Ooh, maybe that's a work from home slogan.
Yeah.
If you're not at work, there's no free lunch.
There you go.
Perhaps. Well, then Amazon, Snap, and Meta were talking about return to the office last week, and workers who don't want to return at Meta were faced with the following. We're only going to allocate so many jobs to be remote. So they're saying an engineer on this team can be remote. Copywriters on these teams can be remote. They are literally doing analysis that says, what kind of a job is it? Does it need to collaborate? Does it need to be here 3-4 days a week? No? Well, then guess what? That's not a remote position. That position is here. Security, you know, censorship, all those teams, they don't call them censorship anymore, into the conference room. Let's talk about this tweet stream that just went on, Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and a virus doctor. Everybody come in here. What should we do about all these things? These posts are happening on Facebook. It's this argument going on Twitter. Those people aren't remote. Got to be in the conference room. Got to talk it through. Got to then go down, talk to corporate counsel, back and forth. But there's a few jobs remote. Well, all of them freaked out. And then some surveys came over the weekend. So there's the playing field.
Yeah.
And we all knew people are getting upset by the playing field, but a different kind of survey came out.
Exactly.
And this is your people. This is your generation. This is the working
my fellow
engine
people.
of these companies.
Absolutely. No.
And what happened?
There was a survey that came out from Schwab where they asked people to describe which is better, being able to work from anywhere or make more money in terms of wealth, right? In terms of what they valued more. And I'm pretty sure some people are surprised by this, while others aren't. 60% picked flexibility over money, meaning 60% of people would rather be able to work from where they want to, when they want to, as opposed to having to do it from making more money but being in a specific location, which is pretty interesting. And I'm sure your generation is definitely sees this as very different from me. As well as there was another recent post on Fishbowl where they asked users would they take a pay cut to be able to work from home or at least have a short commute. And a lot of people said they would rather take a pay cut, which is obviously then goes opposite to what we were talking about earlier of making more. They would rather make less but be able to work from where they wanted. And they were saying up to 15% reduction in terms of what they were paid, and they would still choose 15% less wage but be able to work from home or wherever you want versus staying at the office and working from there.
Well, like, my goodness. By the way, if there's a couple of you feel that way and you're in software QA, contact the Biz Doc on LinkedIn. My goodness. That's really shocking. So you wonder, is this real? Do you think it's real?
I think it's real, and
are these people just saying this for a survey, or would they really, when they said, okay, this job's 100 grand, but 85 grand and you can work from home, but you're not going to be in our management training program?
Yeah,
because you're not here to collaborate. So 85,000 staff position or 100,000 and be part of management training. They'll say, but you're doing the same function, software QA, copywriting, web development, whatever it is. How many do you think really take the 85
I think a lot of people, at least younger people, mean it, and they would rather do that with the flexibility. But where I see the caveat in this situation definitely is that working from home versus working in the office, you definitely don't get the same level of mentorship, accountability, and being developed the same way as you do just sitting behind it. Because obviously we know from going in meetings and being in meetings and coming out and then like, oh, what you think about this? Or, oh, don't forget about this, or just those small touch points. Those don't happen because on Zoom it's like, click, you're done, and then you're off. And then you're like, all right, what's next now? So I definitely think that there's a big part of that where people would enjoy the freedom of it, but don't understand potentially the long-term kind of setbacks it can create, because a lot of those interpersonal interactions are what really allows you to grow and develop over time.
Yeah, it's like the National Hockey League. There was a couple players that wanted to work from home, and they explained to them that's just not possible.
That's quite challenging to work from home on in the
That's a
NHL.
bad dad joke from the Biz Doc.